before I went off, one of those men sitting at the table with my father, kitchen table, he handed me a little manuscript called The Merchants of Labor by Ernesto Galarza. It was the manuscript. It was the blue line. It was pieces of paper strung together. And he said, "You're going to college, maybe this. I want you to read this. This was written by a very good friend of mine, Ernesto Galarza, and I just want you to read it." Well, I was so excited about going off to college. Yeah, I put it in the suitcase and I took it. But then one of the first assignments in college was to write about a social issue. So I started looking at the manuscript and I started really, really reading it. The more I read it, the more I realized, my God, migrant workers, laborers, the camp that was in Ontario that we drove past all the time, the whole thing began, the Braceros, it began to make sense to me. And I devoured that book and wrote what I thought was a passionate paper. I think I got a good grade. But it was the first time that I felt really intellectually involved in something that was bigger than just fill in the blanks. You know, you got to do Catholic education, fill in the blanks, get the right answer. But that, more than anything, I think, awakened who am I here? I mean, I'm Mexican, but they're Mexican, but they're braceros. It's like they're a part of me. Never mind that we had a dairy and we had a farm, and they didn't work on our farm, but I recognized then there is an inequity here. And I came home and I remember starting those conversations with my parents. Did you know about the bracero movement? Oh, of course. Well, did you know, I mean, what, did you have any negative experience? You know, did you experience prejudice? My parents looked at each other and they said, "Oh yes, man, you know, when we came, it is true, you know, we couldn't go swimming in the public plunge. In Santa Monica, they would let Mexicans swim on Wednesdays because they were going to clean the pool out on Thursdays. Oh yeah, there were signs, Mexicans, no dogs. You saw all this? Oh yes. He said, you know, when we bought this farm, I was out there, and the neighbor, you know that neighbor? Yeah. Well, he didn't know who I was, so he walked up to me and said, "Did you hear that this farm was bought by some damn Mexican?" And my father kept working. He said, "Yes." "I can't believe it. Some damn Mexican is going to live here." So my father turned and said, "Nice to meet you. I'm the damn Mexican." He said, since then, he has not talked to us, you know. And I asked him, "Why didn't you tell me these things?" And they both sort of convinced me that it had been so that I wouldn't grow up angry. So that was the past. That, you know, las cosas ya no son así. So, you know, you have to forget those things. And that was a part of the past. But it was really the message, we didn't want you to get angry. And that's how he told me about the Japanese being taken away. He said, "Oh, yes. But I bought that pump Cecilia. I bought that from Mr. Matsumoto at a fair price. He asked me for that, and I gave it to him." But he said a lot of people just stole things from them. So all these things that they had kept, but decided not to pass on to my generation because they felt, I think, it was going to atrophy our willingness to just plunge into the society.